In any facet of self-improvement or self-growth, forgiving your past self is one of the most crucial things you can do because nothing will derail you, nothing will hold you back more than resenting your own self. And not just resenting yourself, but resenting the actions that you once did, the decisions you once made, anything like that. And that really hit me when I was on live because if you don't know, I do a lot of TikTok stuff. I go TikTok live, kind of Q&As, talking around, stuff like that. And people, we were talking about just, mistakes they made in their past and things that kind of just put them in a place now where they're not really happy. And it's because of the past decisions, it's because of the mistakes they made that landed them where they are now. And so it's easy. Like I kind of was thinking about that, things I've done as well. And it's so easy to almost hate yourself and to put yourself in such a negative mind space because you can't go back and change the past. And it's one of those things where you're almost in that denial where you're so conflicted and you just wish you could see how things would have been. You wish you could see how things could have been if you just didn't do X, Y, Z. And I think that's why we had to talk this video right here is how to forgive yourself because it's not right to stay like that. And I don't want that for anybody because I know that is a burden, that is a heavy chest to hold forever. And we want to let that go and, turn the other cheek to get positive directions, to get directions towards improving yourself and living that life that you want to live. Because I promise you, I swear to you, it's never too late to get the life that you want and to reach fulfillment because you always can. It's your own personal, unique timing. But now let's get back to the main point of how to actually forgive yourself. Now, I might ramble a little bit here. So you're going to have to stick with me because it's kind of hard for me to explain this, but I want you to look at yourself in three different parts, okay? This is kind of like a Christmas story. Okay, we got the past self, the current self, the future self. And your past self is obviously the one that we're dealing with right now, okay? So your past self at one point was your current self because in that moment in the past, you were, present in that moment. Now, in that moment, though, you were doing what you thought was right. You were doing what you wanted to do with the information that you had, the experience that you had, and any kind of just, mental state that you were in there. And what that means is that the decisions that you made ultimately were shaped by the moment that you were in right then. And it's easy now for your current self to look back at your past self and be angry and be like, why did you do this? What were we thinking? Why not that? Why not this? But it's only because now you have the hindsight. Now you have the experience to look back and know that it was a wrong decision. I think that's one of the true, like just shortcomings of the human mind is that it's easy when things go wrong to question it, but when they go right to let it go. And I think I'll bring in sports here. Something I think you really see big time is in the NFL, okay? Obviously, you're not a big sports fan. I'll have to explain a little bit here. But in the NFL, you'll see coaches, okay? They're on the headset. They're calling the plays. They'll call a big crucial play. And every single time, if they make a risk, if they fail, they're getting destroyed. Reporters, people tweeting online, like, why'd they do this? Why'd they do this? But, on the opposite of that is if they made that exact same play call, same decision, same everything, if it would have worked, everyone's happy. And no one says anything. No one questions it at all. It's purely based on the outcome that wasn't even really in their hands because it's the players playing for them. And I feel like that's kind of how our lives are. When things go right, okay. But when things go wrong, we look back at it because we have the information now knowing that it didn't work. But we were at the time, though, your past self was under the impression that it maybe could work, or maybe this was how my life should go. And so for you to sit here now in your current self, knowing the outcome, knowing what happened, knowing what went wrong, knowing what the problems were, it's crazy to expect yourself, your past self, to to be able to have had that figured out because you now have access to information that your past self didn't have access to. So that's why you need to give yourself grace. The key to forgiveness here is to understand that little weird principle, that weird dynamic of how the current self knows the past self doesn't. And what you can get into right now is the future self knows stuff right now about my current self that I don't know right now. And I can give you another weird example that I talked about on live. I could casually be sitting here right now. Someone could just, I don't know, bust through this window, do something crazy, hurt me, whatever. And maybe I end up in the hospital. Okay, now I got some medical bills. Maybe now I can't go to the gym. I'm sad. I'm depressed, and maybe it derails my life a little bit. It would be easy for future me to look back and maybe ponder and think like, why did I have the window open? Why did I have my my back turned to the window when I know someone could walk by and look in here and plot something on me? Why wasn't I more aware? Why didn't I do it in the room with the door closed? Or all these things that are these hypotheticals that you only are able to conjure up because you are now living in the moment where the bad thing has happened. Right now, as I'm sitting with you right now, I would never expect that to ever happen. It's just not a predictable thing. So no matter what your past that thing that you're mad about is, say for example, you're in a relationship and it went on for a long time. and ultimately ended and you wish it would have been shorter, you wish it didn't happen, anything like that. The past version of you had hope. The past version of you had faith. The past version of you had a thought of love, attachment, anything like that right there. And it's only because you're in the current moment now that you look back and know it wasn't that, because you were living in a world where you are separated from that love, separated from that attachment, separated from that relationship in general. And that applies to anything right there. That's why you have to give your past self grace, because you had that experience now. And it's not a good thing to live in that moment of just thinking, why didn't I do this, and why. It's not fair to yourself. So you got to start doing that first off. Give yourself grace. Understand that you're a person that's worthy of love, like to the world, but then also more importantly to yourself. You should be look in the mirror and respect yourself and love yourself and understand the amazing things about you, and that the journey of life is unique and it's one of one. There are so many of us out here, and you are living your own unique journey that has made you your own unique person, capable and worthy of love from everyone and yourself. So you have to respect that and understand that even if it was bad stuff, made you who you are. That's a good thing right there overall. But then also, no matter what you did, it's never over right now. It's never over. You can always, that's why you got to live in the present right now to make things right. So that's why now you have to simply live in the moment, live in the current moment, and do what is the best for yourself right now. Think of your future plan. Think of what you want in the future life. Okay. What do you want? What do you have in that future? That's your dream. Envision it, write it out. And now think, what does the current you do day by day, week by week to make that happen? What are the things? What are the tasks? What do the days look like? Do those things, and I promise you'll be able to make that turnaround. You'll be able to fix things, but you can only do that by almost letting go of the past mistakes. And you let go by grace. You forgive yourself by grace. Understanding that life is complicated. Life is hard. We're all living life for the first time. It's all fresh. It's all new. And the past you was making decisions that it thought was right, for right or for wrong at the time. But that's okay because it's over now. And you can't hate yourself forever. You can never hate yourself into loving yourself. You can never hate yourself into becoming a better person. It doesn't work like that. Grace, acceptance, and forgiveness are the three things there that will ultimately get you to the point now where you can be happy and turn that new page, I'm saying, and go forward in the right direction. And I'll leave you with one final quote that I think is really something big here. Is what my boxing coach told me. Amateur boxing, a huge thing is experience. Experience this, experience that. You want to be more experienced than the guy you're fighting. But I remember my first fight, the guy I was fighting had more experience. And my coach was always telling me, you need to have that experience, and how it's the most pivotal thing in early boxing matches. I remember just asking him over and over again, like, how do I get it? Like, what do I do? And he hit me finally with, experience is what you gain from doing the thing that you needed it for. And that's kind of how we operate on life right there. And the takeaway from that right there is, for the most part, the things that you're going through right now and back then, you didn't really have access to the knowledge and the chances that allowed you to know what was right and what was wrong. It takes you going through that to learn, to become a better person, to become a more well-rounded, intelligent, and just knowledgeable person overall. And that's okay, because now you have the knowledge to then get better and keep, fighting at life, because life is that chipping game. You chip away day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year, and we're playing that long marathon of constant progression and getting better. But remember, give yourself grace, accept yourself for everything you've done, try to love yourself a little bit, and then forgive yourself, because it's okay. I promise you, we'll make it out of this right here. We're going to make it happen regardless of what happened before. I love you guys. I'm rooting for you. Always leave a comment. I'll reply with a video. Do what I can to help you. Hit the subscribe button if this video helped you. Also hit me a like. It means so much. I'll see you guys.